Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I took a lot more photos this month compared to last month because I bought some new gear to try and meet my needs, and as such I probably took a few thousand images, although I only probably kept about 85 as I've been testing the capabilities of the new gear to ensure that it does what I wanted it to do. I bought myself an Olympus OM1, so I've gone back to Micro Four Thirds for my action needs. So I wanted a better camera for capturing my dog running towards me, and I didn't really feel that my attempts with full frame were delivering the kind of images that I wanted to capture. And I knew from the past that when I had the old Olympus EM1 Mark II, I did get some of the results that I was looking for, but just not the consistency and not the kind of the depth of field in terms of subject separation from the background. So that's where I started off on my full frame journey about 2 years ago now, but I've come full circle and gone back to the OM1 because I'm willing, I feel like, to sacrifice the separation, the subject separation, in order to get more of the shots that I wanted to get. And I'm actually filming on the OM1 now because I'm hoping from my tests it's going to see me moving away from the Osmo Pocket, because I do find it a little bit frustrating to use. It's much better being able to see me be filming these kind of videos on a bigger screen and making sure it's just so much easier just seeing all the settings at a glance, whereas the Osmo, I just feel that I've come to the end of my time with the Osmo Pocket. And so I've been using the OM1 now for a few weeks, and hands down is definitely the camera for me for my action needs. And when I say action, I just want to capture my dog kind of running around, running towards me a little bit better than I have done in the past with previous cameras. And a good thing with returning to Micro Four Thirds is I already had some excellent lenses for it, and I'm probably in the future just going to invest in that 40 to 150 f2.8, because even though I've got some older 4/3 lenses and they do seem to work for running around, they're not quite so good with subjects moving towards the camera quite fast. But anyway, I've probably taken, like I said, a few thousand images with the OM1 in burst mode to try and capture that decisive movement of my dog running towards me, and I've got to say it does a really good job, much better than, like I said, other cameras I've tried recently. And I've probably captured some of the best like running dog shots images that I've ever captured, and I'll show some of those a bit later on. So because of the success of returning to Micro Four Thirds at a lower cost than I was expecting, I managed to get a good deal on the OM1. I think I managed to pick up a good used copy for about £800, and that still sounds like a lot, but when I bought the Sony A9, that was like £1,400 before I even got into lenses. So the fact that I had lenses already, like the 12 to 40 f2.8, which I'm filming this on, which is absolutely a brilliant lens, it didn't cost as much to return to Micro Four Thirds as to say to try another full frame camera. So because I managed to save some money in the transition back to Micro Four Thirds, and the fact that the OM1 does deliver for me for what I wanted it to do for those outdoor action type scenarios, I've tried it indoors and it's definitely not the camera for low light indoor work, but for low light outside I've found that it's good enough for my needs. Like I did some misty early morning shots with my dog a couple of weeks back, and it did absolutely fine. So yeah, I'm happy with the OM1 for my actiony type needs. So with the money that I saved with that transition, I did splurge on another camera. I bought myself a Fujifilm GFX 50S. I've been eyeing this camera for a while now, and I finally did buy the beast about 2 weeks ago now, and yeah, it's taken a bit of time to get used to. Thankfully, I had some amazing. I'll roll that back a bit. I had two lenses for it. I say two lenses, two adapted vintage lenses. So here there is an old Yashica 50mm f1.7, and I've also got as well a Carl Zeiss 35mm f1.4. And to be honest, I was on the verge of selling this lens when I've used it on the Fujifilm X-E1 and other full frame cameras. I haven't really been that impressed with this copy. My last copy was better, but I moved that on because it wouldn't go past f2.4, whereas this one, all the apertures work, but it just wasn't giving me that same look. So I can definitely see that there is benefit in trying multiple lenses of the same type because of that sample variation. But anyway, this lens is an absolutely beast on the GFX, as is the 50mm in terms of just really sharp throughout the frame. Yeah, so I've obviously got these two lenses already, so I only had to buy the mount, the M42 to GFX mount this month. I took a punt on the Andoa EF to GFX mounts. Obviously, if I had a better Fuji GFX camera, I probably would have just stumped up the money and bought the Fringer adapter. That's supposed to be the creme de la creme of adapters, but for these older cameras which have only got contrast based focusing, these cheaper EF adapters are supposed to be quite good. And to be honest, I have been quite impressed with this cheap Chinese version, which I think is a copy of a Viltrox adapter. But anyway, all the lenses I have for the EF system have worked. But in all honesty, I haven't really enjoyed the look that those EF lenses give me on the GFX system. I much prefer the two older vintage lenses that I've used. Yeah, so you should hopefully see more of this on my channel in the future, because whilst the OM one is great for action, I've kind of lost a little bit of enthusiasm with Micro Four Thirds for other types of photography. So the idea with this one is being like a platform for adapting manual focus lenses, and then also as well for using it for landscapes where more dynamic range is a welcome benefit, and yeah, just for general fun. It's like a Fuji camera, but without the X-Trans issues, or the issues that come with the X-Trans sensor in my experience, is because this uses a traditional Bayer sensor, and so you don't have to deal with any of those kind of worms. So yeah, so that's all my gear changes this month. Like I said, it's been quite expensive, but I did get this one again for a good price. Like when I've been looking at them, they've been around about £1,400, which sounds a lot, but these were upwards of £5,000 when they were released. So they have definitely come down a lot since then, certainly on the used market. And a lot of people go for the 50R. This is the 50S, and as you can see, is a bit of a beast, but it does have the advantage in the fact that the screen can open up like that, and you can also, if you want to, detach the EVF from the body and buy an adapter so you can turn the EVF into like a vertical EVF. So that's, yeah, so I actually went for this one rather than the 50R, partly because the 50R was a lot more expensive. It doesn't have the vertical screen, it doesn't have the decent grip, and yeah, I just thought this one would be better for my needs. But anyway, I got this one for £900, or just over £900. Why is this one a lot cheaper than the other ones that are for sale? But basically, there's a slight issue with the LCD screen in that they thought it was like dead pixels, but I don't think it's dead pixels. I think it's just like one of the coatings has been damaged, and it just has a bit of a purple kind of like splodge. But to be honest, when you're out shooting it, you don't really notice it that much, and because you're using the EV, or I use the EVF most of the time anyway, which doesn't have that issue, it's not a problem. You can still see the menu through the damage, and then the resultant images, they're absolutely fine. So I'm more than happy to save £400-500 on a copy just to live with that particular issue. And what hasn't happened for a while now is that both of these cameras have survived that 2-week return window in the UK. So when you buy something online in the UK, you have the option to return it within 2 weeks. You have to pay postage, but it's still quite a good safety net if you buy something, don't get on with it for whatever reason, and then you can send it back. But both of these cameras have passed that mark now, so I'm definitely going to be keeping them for the foreseeable future. Right, so on to pictures I've taken this month, and probably the first time since I started doing this series of videos, but I actually feel like I have 2 images worthy that would go into a virtual portfolio if I had one. And both of them are from my efforts in capturing my dog running towards me. So this is one image that I took on a local dog walk, and I was experimenting with this lens on my OM1, hoping that it was going to be good enough so that I didn't have to get the 40-150 f2.8. But whilst it's good for, I would say, dogs running around, it's not so good for them running towards me. But somehow I managed to capture this shot with this lens, so I was really pleased. And it, like I said, it's probably one of the best running dog images that I've captured, just purely because of I just think the composition is really strong. Probably not quite as strong as this image here, but this time with the 12-40 f2.8, probably at 80mm f2.8. That's why I feel like the 40-150 f2.8 I would probably benefit from. In all honesty, I had looked at the 75mm f1.8, the Sigma 56mm f1.2, and the Panasonic 35-100 f2.8, but I keep coming back to the fact that, yeah, I could get those lenses, but I'm not sure that they would be able to keep up with fast subjects running towards the camera. And I think the only lens at the moment that can do that, as well as the 12-40, is that 40-150. But anyway, I love this image that I captured of Billy. I just loved the background in this local dog walk, and I was almost probably a bit too low with this shot, but I really do feel that adds to the composition. And yeah, it's one of my favourite images which I've printed actually this month, and I'll come on to that a bit later on. What about any other notable images? It was a difficult month this month because, like I said, I had 2 new cameras, and so I was just literally just shooting away, not really much considered photography, just testing the capabilities of the camera. So I don't think there's that many notable that I've captured, but I will put up this one, which actually was shot with the Canon 5D Classic early on in the month, and it's of a doorway to a bell tower of a church nearby in the village of Milburn Port. And yeah, I just love certainly in monochrome, I just love the texture of the brickwork, and the bell ringers were up the tower at the time, so the light and the door were open. I just really think that adds to the composition. Right, so the second image here was taken with my Ricoh GR3. I don't take it out a great deal, but it's one of those cameras, probably like the GFX, where I don't use a lot of the time, but when I do, it really does produce some great images. And this is one of those great images. It was just beautiful conditions in the morning, and admittedly the house that's the subject of this image is nothing particular to look at, but what I was drawn to was the fact that they used a lot of wine glasses to make up rows in the back garden, obviously for growing fruit and veg and the like. But yeah, I just love this composition, just the light. It was very frosty, so you can see that on the glass of the greenhouse, and yeah, it's just something really nice about this image. Right, so on to this image here, which was with my OM1 that I'm filming this on, and with the 4/3 50mm f2 macro lens. And I had in mind a local club competition that was coming up, like a macro competition, and this was probably my best effort that didn't really get anywhere, to be honest. But I quite liked it because we've got like a local water feature, so I positioned the leaf there and captured this shot, and I just quite like the conversion of this image. First GFX image I'll put up is this one. One good thing with the GFX is you can, like, I've mapped it to a button where you can select lots and lots of different aspect ratios. So obviously it's got the X-pan ratio, so this is an X-pan shot. It's not the best time of day that I took this shot, it's just middle of the day when we were out doing a walk, but it's of the Sturminster Newton Mill. And this one was with the Carl Zeiss 35mm lens, and you won't be able to see it so much here, but you can literally zoom in, pixel peep into the mill itself, and there's just so much detail in the brickwork and the wooden beams and the handrails, etc. This is what sold me the GFX, in that it was going to be definitely worth keeping, and the fact that this lens did such a good job. Yes, the edges are a little bit soft, but to be honest, this is probably one of my best performing lenses that I've used on the GFX system, and this 35mm equates to about 28mm on the GFX system, which is generally a bit too wide for me, but it is good for these shots. And the beauty of the GFX with its 50 megapixels is you can crop in a lot without losing too much resolution. Right, the second image that I really liked this month was with the GFX again, and this time the Yashica 50mm f1.7. And even though I was quite far away and Billy, my dog, is quite small in the frame, I was really impressed with the separation of the subject in the frame, as well as the colours and the sharpness. I think this was pretty much shot, probably just stopped down from 1.7, because I do find 1.7 wide open on the Yashica is a bit too glowy, but just the next, like the dot down, and yeah, I'm really happy with that position on that lens, and it does really produce the goods, as this image hopefully demonstrates, also in the X-pan ratio. And finally, this image here, again taken with the GFX and that Yashica 50mm f1.7, and this was completely unexpected, seeing that swirly bokeh, because I was even considering getting like the Helios 44-2 58mm f2 lens to do that swirly bokeh, but I feel like with this Yashica, I was not expecting it to produce that kind of a look. Right, so that's the notable images. As I've been so busy with testing the OM1, testing the GFX, etc., I haven't really made the purposeful photography trips this month in order to photograph something with a bit more consideration and thought. It's just mainly just been walking around my local town, doing on dog walks with Billy, etc. So I haven't really printed, there's nothing really that I felt, oh yeah, I've got to print that out, other than one of the ones I took of my dog. So that's exactly what I did this morning. So I printed out this one here. Not sure how this one is gonna show in the frame, but yeah, I really do like that particular image. So that's from the OM1, and yeah, it just seemed to do monochrome really well, the Canon selfie that I picked up. Yeah, so that was my solitary print this month that will go up onto my wall. But yeah, it's probably one of the best images of Billy that I've ever captured. So that's it for March. Yeah, so hopefully next time around I'll have some nicer images with the GFX to show you. If I can get myself out of bed and go out for a sunrise or stay up for a sunset, and it's just trying to find a particular location to test its capabilities with. And of course, there's going to be some more videos down the line on my channel on the OM1 and on the GFX. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching. Bye for now.